Welcome to Thailand, AI. AI exploring how tech and daily life tie with Dave on this adventurous quest. Welcome to Thailand, AI, bringing you the best. Welcome to Thailand, AI, where innovation meets the sky. Dave's your guide in this tech-savvy ride. Thailand, AI. Let's see what we can apply.
Sawadee Cup, g'day and welcome back to the channel, thailand.com.ai. This episode, we'll be looking at a few varied things. The first thing is a bit of news, the latest news in Thailand on AI. So on Monday in the Bangkok Post, the government actually started to outline its AI strategy, or the second part of its AI strategy. So we might just have a quick look at that and see what's going on. Also, I know today to talk about DEVIN. Not DEVIN, the sandwich meat that I used to have when I went to school on my lunch, or DEVIN, the place in England in the West Country. This is DEVIN, an AI development tool that is autonomous, and this is where we're heading. So some people might find this very scary, other people might find this very interesting. I personally sit in both camps. But let's have a quick look at what's going on here in Thailand at the moment when it comes to AI. All right, so we'll go down to here, we'll check this out, and we will have a look. Yeah, so this week the government has come out in Thailand with the National AI Strategy, which outlines 6 projects. Apparently it's the second part of the strategy. So we shall have a look here. Let's go into the article itself. Okay, so instead of reading the article, of course, we've got the benefit of using AI. So we'll actually just summarize the article. And this week we'll actually use Claude, which is another large language model. So I will copy this and I will do the good old-fashioned scrolling down to make sure I've got it all. Control C. Now let's open up Claude, and instead of reading the whole article, we will go summarize this article in key points. Paste the article in, and let's see how quick Claude is compared to Grok, which we tried in a previous episode. Okay, it's pretty quick. All right, it's going through the 7 points. All right, okay, so now we can dive into this a little bit deeper. All right, here are the key points summarising the article. Thailand's national AI strategy is moving into its second phase. So they've already had the first phase. It's focused on increasing the AI workforce and creating a Thai large language model. The 6 projects that are being flagged require a budget of around $45 million, which is 1.5 billion baht, which is a fair amount of money. Major projects include developing 30,000 AI skilled workers, 1 billion baht budget, creating an open source Thai LLM, and AI chatbots, 120 million baht, using AI for fraud detection in finance and AI applications in tourism and manufacturing. The Travel Link project aims to use generative AI for tourism, a chatbot to promote local communities earning from tourism insights. Financial institutions want to leverage AI to strengthen fraud detection systems, reduce loss from cybercrime, which totaled 27 billion baht from March 23 to February 24. That's a lot of money. The Thai Large Language Model project aims to reduce reliance on foreign AI and promote Thai AI startups considered national infrastructure for secure technology, and other projects involving setting up AI biometric identification testing center, an AI governance center, and promoting AI for quality assurance and energy optimization in manufacturing to support the carbon footprint for reduction of exports. So we can see there that the government is at least starting to have an idea of how they're going to roll out some of this AI. The 30,000 AI skilled workers. Now, this will be an interesting figure because what are they going to do? Which brings me to my other topic, which is DEVIN. DEVIN. Okay, so let's have a look at what DEVIN actually is here. We will go into a blog by the company that have invented DEVIN. Now, I can't explain it as probably well as this guy can because the concepts are quite interesting. So what we might do is we might just quickly play this YouTube clip.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to DEVIN, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds a whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement, reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization. You can see the website here. All of this is possible today because of the advancements that we've made in both reasoning and long-term planning. It's a really hard problem, and we've only just started, but we're super excited about the progress that we've made so far. In the meantime, if you'd like to try out Devin on your own real-world tasks, send us a request below, and we'd be happy to forward it to Devin.
Okay, so there's a lot of these smaller companies now that are utilizing the power of AI, and we can see how autonomous agents, basically we give them a start command and they go through and work it out. They use logic, they use reasoning. This is where we start to move towards AGI. But this is very, very interesting because basically what they're saying is that Devin can learn how to use unfamiliar technologies. Devin can build and deploy apps end to end. Devin can autonomously find and fix bugs in code bases. Devin can train and fine-tune its own AI models. It can address bugs and feature requests in open source repositories. And it can contribute to mature production repositories. Okay, so basically what this thing does is it replaces someone who can write code. Now, I'm not one for coding and coders will be obsolete because I think coders have a great advantage because they will understand the technology and be able to adapt and adapt quicker than most people. But having said that, this is a major game changer. So if we go back to the 30,000 jobs that we're looking, 30,000 skilled AI workers, well, I think maybe 10,000 of those may be actually AGI AI workers. But anyway, we'll soon find out. Yeah, so there's some of the latest AI news from around Thailand. Now, this part of the episode, I want to go back into talking about IoT. And as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I have been working with a company called BuildTrack, which has given me a good opportunity to actually get access to their system. Their system is quite unique insofar as they produce hardware and they also produce software. So it's a company that ties together, very, very robust hardware and very robust software, which is important. The reason it is important is because you can have as much hardware as you like, but if it doesn't function correctly in the way it should do with robust software, you're in trouble. So I won't be diving too deep into the whole structure. This is more just to start people thinking about how IoT can help their life and in certain circumstances makes IoT sort of essential, and it changes the way we think about buildings. So I will start off with something really simple. Here is a switch. Here is another switch. And here is a node. All these things, a switch, you can visualize replacing a switch in the wall with this switch. This is a smart switch. It is controlled via Wi-Fi. It talks to the system via Wi-Fi, so it's not wired. You do need to run a neutral wire to be able to power the device as well as power the load being the light, the air conditioner, whatever you've got turned on into it. So basically most houses aren't wired up with a neutral wire running to the light socket. So when you want to install these, sometimes you can retrofit them, sometimes you can't. So that is the first thing that people will discover when they decide that they want to put IoT into their house. The BuildTrack system, like most systems, does require a neutral wire. Okay, so we've got the concept of a switch. If you had a neutral wire, you could take out your existing light switch and replace it with a smart switch. Now, the reason this is pretty cool, and we might actually have a look at the interface here and how things are controlled, is if you've got a large house, right, and you had to go and turn all your lights on and off, or open blinds and door controllers or curtains or whatever, it's a bit of a process, right? So by actually having a way of doing this remotely is very cool. Now, with the BuildTrack system, you have multiple ways to actually activate, to turn on or turn off the devices. So I'll run over some of this today. So we'll just dive down here into this part of the program. I will record the screen and we will see and step our way through what's going on. Okay, so the first window we'll actually look at is the window from, oh, here we go, there we go, yep, for the window from the actual software. So if we go down to here now, we can see that this is the control panel, and this house is a fairly large house. Living room, dining room, pool light, kitchen, master bedroom, and there's a whole stack of other rooms, bathroom, major bathroom, bedroom 4, and so forth. So each room actually has its own control. Now you can control it. This is actually a web interface. So there's not a lot of IoT companies that have a web interface. They mainly just all have apps. So if we look at our app here, that is the main controller that people will use. They basically install the switches, they download the app, they log into the app, and the app will actually control what's going on. So from the app itself, you can set up all sorts of things, right? So you can set up timing, scheduling, profiling. So we'll step through a few of those. The good thing about BuildTrack is we actually have a screen here to be able to show you. So systematically, if we go through and we have a look at what we can do, activity log is always good because it will tell you what's been switched on and when it's been switched on and how long it's been switched on for. So you can then take that data and you can start to work out energy consumption. So that's the first tick that IoT will do. The next one is, let's have a look at the setup. Now, with the setup, when you set up a switch, if we just dive into here for a minute, we'll go to access point, we can see that there is a lot of, there's 76 online, none offline, and 1 not configured. So there's 76 switches or nodes on the project, on this particular project, right? So a node will control an air conditioner, a remote control. It can sit behind existing switches and be retrofitted. So your existing light switches will also then be smart. Now, the module itself in here uses Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi, a lot of people go, oh, Wi-Fi for IoT is no good. That is not true. Wi-Fi is very powerful. 2.4 Wi-Fi, particularly now with Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E, means it's a very robust system with very little latency. You can retrofit or install from new. So you don't need to worry about the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi has come a long way. It has a bad rap, but believe me, it's very powerful. And I can show you when we'll delve a bit deeper into this. So when we initially set up the switches, this is where we would set the switches up. Each switch then is allocated to a room, and that room is then named. So for example, if we go back into the control here, and we go back into the living room, we can see we've got the stairway light, the upstairs light, the pool light, and so forth. So you can arbitrarily change these switches. Now, I want to jump in to this little example that I've got set up here on the website. Okay, so if we have a look at this, this is just a mock building that we've actually set up. So this hopefully will explain what the importance of being able to use profiling is. All right. So in a traditional house, you go into bedroom 1 and you switch on the light, or bedroom 2, or the wardrobe, or wherever it happens to be. We can work our way across. But if you wanted to come in the entryway and you wanted to turn on lots of things, you can use profiles. So if we use this profile switch, you may have the profile set that you want particular lights to come on. This could be a different profile. Profile 2, turn the pool light plus other lights on. So by profiling your lights, you can turn on any number of lights very simply. Now, the profiles can be set up very easily in the system. When you go to setup, we can go into keypad configuration, and there you can see I've set up some profiles. Now, the profiles will work from this web interface, or they will also work from the app on the phone, or they will work with voice. So if we go back here, which we've discussed in the past, and we look at voice integration, we've got Alexa and Google, and there's a whole stack of different commands. Now, AI will now become another voice, but a far more powerful voice. What it will enable you to do with your profiles, because you can then compact what you want to be turned on and turned off into a set profile. That profile then can be actioned by the AI or by Google. So basically, it's a very, very powerful way to control your home. The latency on the Wi-Fi is virtually non-existent. So as soon as you say turn the light on, it's on. Turn the light off, it's off. And I've done that in a previous video, and no doubt I'll be going over this more, because this whole idea of being able to control your home, get data from your home, is very important. Now, a lot of people think that, oh yeah, and you put it in, it might work, it might not work. How do you know? How do we trace problems and everything else? So if we now go into this part of the screen, we can see in live time, we can actually see what every single switch is doing and what the connectivity is to the Wi-Fi. So if, for example, we look on this switch, we can see the signal strength is -53, which is good, and it's got further information. So at a glance, this particular project has a lot of switches, and we can see straight away that everything is connected, everything is online, and everything in live time what its signal strength is. So it's quite an advanced product when you actually take it looking at it this way. So just going back into here, we'll go into the control section again. Okay, so what I really wanted to point out was these profiles become a very powerful way to control your house. Let's take it to the next level. So right at this point in time, you've got your profile switch, and you can very simply decide at what time, what level, scheduling, everything else, you can actually set your profiles off. So when you walk in the house, you might be driving your car up, and you decide to use the app on your phone to activate the garage door, the lights in the house, the kitchen, whatever. The second thing is, which is very clever of Buildtrack, they've got a profile switch. So this profile switch can be changed at any time. It's not something that has to be programmed, and you need to get programmers in to come and do it. Basically, from the app, you decide what you want to come on and off. You call it something, living room all on, living room all off. It will then transfer across to this switch through the app. So when you press, for example, button 1, it will turn all the living room on, and when you press button 2, it'll turn all the living room off. If tomorrow you decide that you no longer want button 1 to turn the living room on, you simply just change the profile in the app over here or on the web interface, and then you reset it. You might have half the living room coming on. You might have certain things in the living room. You might have the bathroom, whatever you want to do. So it gives you flexibility. But in the real world, in a real situation, you get out of your car, you press the button, and it turns the stuff on. When you go back to your car, you have one set to press it, it turns everything off. You know the whole place is shut down. And basically that way you can use a hardwired switch. So if you do rent your house out, people haven't got access, or staff haven't got access to the app, they can still use the switches and everything's fine. And we have an example where a particular job, an employee goes in, they're not told what is happening, they're just told every day go in, press button 1, and at the end of the day, press button 2. So you can actually change the profile on the fly as to what you want the end result to be. So looking at these profiles and looking at the way we can control things en masse, IoT is the switch in the wall. It's the actual hardware to turn things on and off. The AI component brings a lot to IoT. The marriage of these two things is amazing, and I'm very excited. So hopefully I will be bringing you a lot more going forward as to what's happening. I just wanted to briefly show you some of the tech. So just recapping, IoT, depending on the system of the IoT, involves both robust hardware, good solid hardware, and also robust software. Once you have that combination, and then we add this to AI, we have a very, very powerful way to do things. So I'll leave that for this week's episode. Join me again shortly, but thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. And until next time, sawadee ka.
So hit that subscribe, don't be shy.